I think it's really important we learn from history. And in light of, the Democrats saying that they respect processes and Senate rules and all these other things, things that when the Republicans are in charge, they never talk about. They'll do whatever they want, forget the rules, screw the rules, whatever we want to get in, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. And that brings you right back to when Obama was in office and there was a Supreme Court opening. I think it was because Scalia died, I believed. And the Democrat, Barack Obama, was trying to seat, a justice, as is his right as the president. And for 11 straight months, the Republicans blocked the nomination. They refused to hold a hearing, essentially filibustering that Supreme Court nomination. Now, fast forward to when the Republicans are in charge and, Gorsuch was up, trying to get on the bench. Trump was trying to seat Gorsuch. And I think the Democrats were preparing to filibuster that. I think, they're usually not one to fight too hard, but we were preparing to do that. And what did the Senate Republicans do? There goes the filibuster, nuclear option. We're going to get him in there. We want him in there, so we're going to do whatever it takes to get him in there. That's how the Republicans operate. It's just borne out in fact. Example after example after example. The Senate parliamentarian, when they wanted those tax cuts, the Bush tax cuts, what did they do to that parliamentarian? They fired him. Get somebody in here who will just say what we want and let's go. That's how they operate. And so this obsession with rules and procedure and all that stuff, that's strictly a Democratic thing. We see that the Republicans don't care, right? 11 months they were blocking Merrick Garland under Obama. How fast did Amy Coney Barrett get in there when Trump was about to leave office? I think it took less than 15 days. So even though it usually takes, I think it was more than twice that long. They don't care about. They'll skate around all that to get what they want done. And now we have a 6-3 conservative court. And that's the result of that. There's real world ramifications for these things. So when the Democrats aren't pushing as hard as they can to get rid of that filibuster and get Manchin on board, get Sinema on board, whatever you need to do, get them on board, because this is vitally, vitally important. And why is it important? Well, look, just this is what gerrymandering is. Take a look at this. Take a look at this this map here. And I'm with you, Zach Weinberg. I can't get over this picture either. This is Texas's 35th congressional district. It runs between San Antonio and Austin because, those are totally the same community or same cities with the same constituents. This is why politics in this country are so insane. Gerrymandering like this pick. Okay, so basically what they do is they draw the electoral map. So they drew out this district. And why did they draw it exactly like this? Well, you take all the Democratic voters and you put them into one district, right? You give the Democrats one representative from that whole district. Instead of having 5 or 6 purple swing districts, you have one long, randomly drawn Democratic district, and then you have 4, 5, 6 Republican districts. So that went from maybe it'll be 3, 3, 4, 2, whatever, something close, to now it's going to be one Democrat and 4, 5, 6 Republicans. That's how you attain power, right? That's what gerrymandering does. And that's why it's incredibly unfair, one. And it isn't just the Republicans that do it, but they do it the most effectively. One, this completely arbitrarily drawn district. It really holds no bearing. It's not fair. It's not, I don't even know how it's constitutional. I'm sure they found a way around it. But that's what happens. That's what gerrymandering does. And because in this past election cycle, the Democrats did not win enough state legislatures to be able to be the ones that draw the redistricting maps because of the recent census. I think this happens every 10 years, this redistricting, because according to the census. So because the Democrats lost or didn't win enough, the Republicans still hold control of that. And so, you can see here, Democrats gear up to fight gerrymandering after state house losses. Republicans said they hope to consolidate their power in the drawing of 30 state electoral maps next year. Democrats are preparing for a decade-long fight. And it's crazy how they just say it, right? Wow. Consolidate their power. They hope they consolidate their power. They just say it. They don't care. They just say it. You know, so like you can't fight fair. Like, why are you trying to fight fair when every single time they fight unfairly? They don't care. They'll cheat. They'll do whatever they need to win. So the filibuster, it needs to go. It needs to go. I mean, we already live in a world where you'll almost never get 60 vote consensus on anything to override that filibuster. So you can just literally give McConnell the ability to filibuster everything your entire term. You get nothing done. Most people don't know what the filibuster is or don't know all these, political minded stuff that people that are into politics really know well. Most people don't know that. So they just see, oh, okay, the Democrat was in office. My life didn't get much better. I'm either going to sit out, which there you get the depressed turnout which causes the Democrats to lose a lot. Or you get those swing voters that are like, all right, I'll try someone else. I'll try the other person, the other candidate. So it needs to go. It needs to go. And the Democrats do have some bills that are going to be up for a vote coming up in this Congress. I think it's H.R. 1. Well, let's see here. It's let's read this from The Atlantic. The report, which was provided exclusively to The Atlantic, comes as Democrats prepare to advance two bills to guarantee voting rights and reshape the rules regarding federal elections, a new Voting Rights Act and the omnibus legislation called H.R. 1. Both bills, which the Democratic-controlled House approved in the previous session, are likely to pass the chamber again this year, with H.R. 1 potentially winning approval as soon as early next month, House aides say. But both are virtually certain to be blocked in the Senate by a Republican filibuster, unless Democrats change the upper chamber's rules to allow them to pass with a simple majority vote. So, I mean, it's all written out right there. Because of the filibuster, they're not going to be able to actually pass this new Voting Rights Act or H.R. 1 to actually make voting more widely accessible, take away all the barriers that there are in certain states to actually being able to vote. And also, actually fixing this ability to gerrymander these unbelievably shaped districts to consolidate power. So unless they actually get rid of the filibuster, nuke the filibuster, those are not going to pass. The Republicans will filibuster that until the next Congress. I guarantee you, because that's what Republicans do. They do what they need to do to keep their power, to keep consolidating their power. So if the Democrats truly want to win, if they truly want to go out there and legislate well, govern well, and win again in 2022 and then win another term in 2024, the filibuster has to go. I mean, I don't know why there's any opposition to it at this point, because guess what? The next time the Republicans have control of the Senate and they want to get something passed, why won't they do the same thing they did with the Supreme Court? Nuclear option, nuke the filibuster, and let's get it going. Let's get whatever we want to get passed. They're going to do that. Let's learn from history. Because this guy, listen to this clip I'm about to play and tell me if you think this guy really wants to legislate and govern for the people. If he has his finger on the pulse of what's going on in the country in the middle of this pandemic with mass unemployment, mass people losing, going to be losing their homes. There's going to be an eviction crisis. People have lost their jobs. People have, maxed out their credit cards. See if this guy is worth, governing with or trying to come to terms with.
There's no question that some American families are still struggling. Nobody thinks our health or economic fight is finished yet. But on a broad national scale, households are sitting on a historic pile of pent-up cash, waiting for the economy to reopen. The former head of the President Obama's Council of Economic Advisors says, quote, "We have no historic parallel with anything like this level of excess savings." He says, "We've never seen this much dry powder." Even mainstream liberal economists agree that our country does not need another massive fire hose of borrowed money. This is not April of 2020. This is a different chapter. Washington should focus on practical policies to finish the fight, accelerate vaccinations, get kids back in school, help the families and small businesses that actually need help, and get laid-off Americans matched with job openings ASAP. Unfortunately, the Democrats' partisan proposal would not just be wasteful, but in certain ways actually counterproductive. It would have Washington go out of our way to discourage hiring, discourage a return to work, and actually keep things shut down longer.
I mean, are you really going to let that guy beat you because you're playing by his terms? You're playing in his game? No. You shape the rules. You're in power. You shape the rules. You shape the game. If you truly believe that you're governing well and you can get things done that is going to help a majority of the country and help your constituents, then you shouldn't be scared to get rid of the filibuster. Why? Because you're going to govern so well that you're going to keep winning and keep winning and keep winning until the Republicans actually get their act straight. See, that's how you actually, instead of chasing the Republicans to the right every single time, you actually pull them to the left. Because if they want to win, they actually have to start being invested in governing again. That's how the game is played. Get rid of the filibuster.